You mentioned that like it's very important to meet with real estate professional, but now you are the real estate professional yourself. But I just want to see like what do you think from the side of the home buyer. Why do you think like it's much important for them like to have a real estate in their deal or to meet with them, to talk with them before even start thinking about buying a home? Why do you think a realtor is important for them?
Definitely. Um, there's so much liability and so many things that can go wrong in a real estate transaction that you really want someone involved that understands that process, understands what those kind of things can be. Now, I'll actually tell you a quick story. So, just a few weeks ago, I had some clients. We were looking at some condos out in Abbotsford, so it's a city nearby. And while we're going through the process, they ended up really liking it. And we went to go make an offer. But what we find with these strata properties, they have strata documents attached. So these are things such as, are there any major expenses coming up in the building? Maybe the roof needs to be replaced. Maybe there's leaks in the past. Maybe it's not insurable. Like all these different things that can really not turn out well for you. And so while doing my due diligence on that property, I found out that the building was actually having a major special levy, which essentially is a one-time fee from all the home buyers that live there, or sometimes it's paid out differently, to pay for the roof, to pay for the building envelope, to pay for major expenses. Now, this was a $1.6 million expense that was going to be put on 54 homeowners. So if you do the math quickly, it's around $40,000.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't go through that process properly, you don't have the right conditions in your contract, and you move in, and all of a sudden, 2 months after you move in, you have a $40,000 fee. And just to be honest, like their down payment wasn't even that size. I mean, for lack of a better term, you're kind of screwed.
You're stuck.
Right? So again, that's just a personal story just to show that, not to say I was a hero, but I was on their side making sure that they were protected. Right? You want to make sure it's someone that's looking out for your best interest, isn't just trying to get a paycheck. Because how easy would it for me to just kind of like push that off to the side and say, hey, whatever, like let's write the contract and let's just get you into the home.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like that's, you never want to see that happen to someone. That's devastating, especially something of that nature. So there's just so much involved in the whole process that can go wrong, that you may miss, that there's legal things in the contract. You don't want to get yourself legally obligated and into a situation that's not beneficial for you. And realize that, if you had someone that was reading through those contracts or reading through those strata documents or whatever it may be, could have advised you differently. The same being looking at prices on a property. You might think something looks incredible, but when they go back, they look at comparable properties, the area itself, everything else, and they tell you like, hey, this place is actually overpriced. We should actually be getting it here. Or, the other thing I would say right now is just I don't want people to waste their time. So they might see a property listed, let's just say it's listed at $600,000. They get excited. Yeah. What they don't realize, this realtor is listed at low on purpose to draw a lot of attention, to create a bidding war, and it's actually going to sell for $700,000. Wow. Right? If you're not aware of that, you might go in, get all excited. You write your offer at full asking price, only to find out like someone else had written at $700,000. But if you had known that it was priced low, you could have kind of just saved yourself the trouble.
I never that was a great example. Like I never thought about it from that side. Like maybe property are listed low to have a bidding war on it. So that's like interesting. And I also have a same opinion. Like you should always have like maybe someone professional reading through all the contacts or helping you through, right? But what you would say, like this is again, which I thought personally. So I believe like there are tons of people out there which also think same, is that it's gonna cost you money to have a realtor. What do you think, like how much it costs for you, especially for the first time home buyer, because they're not looking to spend some money on another things. Why do you say that?
Definitely. Well, funny thing is that's a great question because it's a very common misconception. And a lot of people think it costs a lot of money to have a buyer's agent or a realtor that helps you purchase a property, but it actually doesn't cost you anything. So the commission for both the buying agent and the selling agent are paid for by the home seller themselves. So it actually doesn't cost you a single thing, right? And many people aren't aware of this. And I think that's why they may be scared to, build that relationship with someone, because there's this expectation that they're going to have to pay X amount of dollars, but it doesn't actually cost them anything. So I can't recommend enough to have that professional on your side from the very start, as early as possible, to educate you, again, whether you're a year out or 2 weeks out, right? Like I always say, it doesn't cost you anything. There's no hourly fee, right? So get them involved in the process as early as possible. Now, the other thing I will say to touch on this is, if you're going to engage, a real estate professional, they don't get paid until that transaction's gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And what a lot of people will do is kind of abuse those people because they're not thinking about it, putting themselves in those people's shoes, right? So I think it's very important to have a transparent relationship between each other, right? If something's not going right, tell them. Don't stay quiet about it. If you would like to explore other options, tell them, right? Like, they're working as hard as they can for you, hopefully, but they're not actually getting paid for that until the end transaction occurs. So it's just important to have a level of trust, to show loyalty, and just to be transparent with each other at the end of the day.
Alex, I would be honest, this was the same thought I had, because when I started to looking, I still rent, but when I, just for my own fun, I started looking to buy a home, or maybe home prices. So I always thought I should do it by myself, because I don't want to pay some realtor, but I didn't know that it just don't cost you anything. So how you would say that if someone wants to find a realtor, so there are so many people out there, and I'm sure most of them are very professionals, but how you suggest that to what someone can do to find a good realtor for them, so that realtor can take care of them?
Definitely. I mean, there's many ways. Obviously, you can find people online, you can call different brokerages, but what I think is more important that I'm going to cover is what sorts of questions to ask them.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one being, are you full-time or part-time? I have a very difficult time telling people to use a part-time realtor over a full-time one, because this market moves so fast.
Yeah.
Things are changing at all times. And especially in a market like this, you need someone who's always available for you, or at least within reason, of course.
Yeah.
And then, so my take on this is, a part-time realtor, they don't even trust themselves enough in the business to go full-time. So how can you put your trust in them? Again, not to talk down on anyone who's part-time. Maybe they're just getting into the business or something else. But again, that's just kind of my view on that. The other thing would be, are you on a team or not? And there's nothing wrong with being on a team, but you want to know, if you're talking to one person, is that who you're going to be dealing with, or are you going to be passed on to someone else? So there's two sides to this, is that a properly built team may have someone who actually is better than maybe the leader at their specific job. So just for instance, certain teams the leader, or the top person on that team, they might just be a listing agent. They just might list properties, but they may have a couple different buyer's agents. Maybe one specifically looks in Toronto, one is in Brampton, right?
Yeah.
Those people may actually have a higher level of knowledge in those specific areas than that leader. But there's the other side of the coin, is maybe the leader is just trying to flip off business to other people, and they're getting referral fee or whatever that may be. So it's important to ask those questions. Location is a huge thing. Where do you primarily work out of, right? There definitely can be a bit of variance, right? If you're around the GTA area, that's fantastic. But how far are they kind of stretching themselves, right? If they're an hour and a half, 2 hours away from where you'd like to buy, are they going to have the best level of knowledge versus someone that lives in the area or just operates out of that area? Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of questions. You want to interview a couple of people always, kind of see who you mesh best with. It's also important that you're going to get along with them, because there's people that may be incredible in business, but for some reason you just aren't on the same page. You don't speak the same. When I say you don't speak the same language, I just mean that you communicate differently, right? It's very important to have a good relationship with that person, because if you're spending, multiple weeks or over a month, multiple hours talking to them, going to see properties, everything else, if you can't stand that person, no matter how good they are at what they do, it's probably not going to be an enjoyable experience.
It's true, Alex. Like if we just think about it, like just buying a home, especially if you're a first-time buyer, it's gonna be one of your like biggest financial decisions you're gonna take in your life. So it's like always good to have someone on your side to take good care of you. So like thanks so much, Alex, like for giving us time. But before we end our conversation, what would you say? Like, what's the one and single only advice if you have to give to the listeners who are listening us on the podcast or maybe who are watching us on YouTube? What would be the one advice you would give to first-time home buyers in Canada?
It would just be to start educating yourself early, no matter how far out you are, whether that's 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, just start to understand the home buying process, start to understand the sides of financing, talk to those professionals, find out where you are now, and just start to set those goals and create that roadmap for the future. Because the sooner you do that, the sooner you can reverse engineer that process, and the sooner you're going to get to that stage where you can purchase that first home. So I would say, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you want I have great realtor connections in your area, or if it's someone in my area, I'd be more than happy to help you.
Awesome. And what's the best way to reach out to you, like on social media platform?
Definitely. So my social media for Instagram would be at Dunbar Group. If you want to see my TikTok, it's at Dunbar Real Estate. You can visit my website, dunbarrealestategroup.ca. Or if you have any questions or concerns that you'd like to email me, alex@dunbargroup.ca.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alex, for giving your precious time on us. And thanks so much. I'm really sure this video is gonna really a valuable video for so many people out there. Thanks so much, Alex.
No worries. Thank you so much, Harpreet, for having me on.
Take care, brother. Thank you.